This lady went viral on TikTok for mocking those who will be losing their food stamp benefit starting this November 1st if the government doesn't reopen. Check this.
This message is for all the people that are complaining that they're not getting their food stamps for November. What did you do with October's food stamp money? What'd you do? Did you stock up on pantry items and try to shop smartly? Or did you just go buy a bunch of processed garbage? By the way, you can thank the Democrats.
Yeah, you heard it right. She decided to mock them, but others are being critical about it. So listen to what is around all these food stamp benefits. At this point, there's so many statistics. So let's watch this.
$7.8 billion a month is all I needed to hear. Keep the fucking government closed. I'm cool with it. Did you know that $7.8 billion is what they spend a month on SNAP benefits? And over 70% of SNAP recipients are not even legal American citizens. So our taxpayers are going to pay for the SNAP benefits, which is making them morbidly obese, which is making them need health care, which we're paying for their free health care. And then the cycle just continues and continues and continues. No, thank you. So you want us to approve healthcare now, free for illegal immigrants, when over 70% of SNAP benefits are going to illegal immigrants at the rate of almost $8 billion a month. No, thank you. I stand 10 toes down. I hate the fact that the military is not getting paid. I hate the fact that government workers are not getting paid. But guess what? If we continue to allow this, they will continue to take advantage of it. Here in my home state, there are illegal immigrants going to their congressmen telling them we cannot afford to live or stay in the United States without government assistance. But I thought illegals were not getting government assistance. Isn't that what they tried to lie to us and tell us? I thought they told us that they were not receiving health care benefits. Oh, but yes, they are. And now you have them at our boards choosing or acting like they are respecting our law and the way that our system works here now all of a sudden when their benefits get cut. Yeah, no, I'm good. Keep it closed. Keep it closed.
Now, if you are an infant, if you are mentally or physically incapable of working, or you are too old to work, right? You've put your bid in, you've done your work. I believe that we should take care of them folks, right? The government, AKA the taxpayer. Yeah, I don't mind necessarily making sure that them folks are taken care of. But what I do have a problem with is this right here. Now, they're going to call me all types of phobic because I'm going to point this out. But look at this right here. Look at food stamps by ethnicity in the United States. Okay. Who is receiving a majority of the benefits that we pay for in this country? Now, I know y'all like to bring up the little argument of, well, it's mostly white people. First of all, per capita. Learn it, live it, love it. Okay. Secondly, I mean, come on. So we got to take care of everybody else's everybody else.
Okay, my question is this. What did you observe about those flags that were shared? These flags, what do they have in common? Anyway, I read so many comments that were reading, who is bombing their countries? Anyway, I'm just delivering.
The amount of things that we pay with our taxes, on a lot of corrupt things as well. You guys draw the line at SNAP benefits. The amount of videos that I've seen of people bashing other people who receive SNAP benefits is diabolical. And y'all need to grow the hell up. I used to get SNAP benefits years ago. Okay. My husband and I don't qualify for them anymore. But I promise, if we could, I'll have them. You have a lot of people who are on SNAP benefits because they have to. The crazy thing is when y'all hear people being on SNAP benefits, the first thing y'all think of is they being lazy. They don't want to work. Y'all do know that there's requirements for a reason. And one of those requirements for SNAP benefits does not include you have to be unemployed. There are a good amount of people who are on SNAP benefits and they have a job. Okay. Now, yes, you do have people who are lazy and don't want to work. But that's neither here nor there. Okay. You have elderly people who are on SNAP benefits because they need it. It's a necessity. They may be on a fixed income where what they get just really doesn't cover for their foods, right? You have mothers who gets benefits to provide for their children. You have fathers who get benefits to provide for their children. And you even have people who are in a two-parent household that receive benefits to provide for themselves and their children. Okay? And then you also have agencies, foster care, and you have other facilities that also receive benefits for the children that they're taking care of. Like, it's so many things and so many people that receive them for necessity reasons. Okay. And y'all just instantly think, oh, somebody being lazy. And I seen one video where a guy just wanted to be straight up racist with it, as if it's only minorities, only black people that receive food stamps. Okay. We'll say that video for another day. But y'all really need to wake up, because it's so crazy how y'all going crazy about where our tax dollars are going to. And it's the focus seem to be SNAP benefits, as if those same tax dollars is not going towards more corrupt things. But again, I'll save that video for another day.
Oh, what about the people that are abusing the system? Those are my tax dollars. I'm assuming that you're talking about Walmart. You're talking about Walmart, right? I want to believe that you are intelligent enough to recognize that when you're talking about your tax dollars being misused, you're talking about Walmart and not the single mother of three trying to buy Fruity Pebbles because that's the only thing that her kids will eat. Right? Because it would be pretty shitty if you were trying to blame that mom when Walmart is triple dipping into your tax dollars. They intentionally hire people that are on SNAP benefits so they get a tax break. Do you know who pays for that tax break? You do. And then they don't pay their employees enough money to get off SNAP benefits. So they get to suppress wages and pocket the difference, and you get to pay for their employees to eat. But because they also operate as a grocery store, everybody on EBT benefits gets to shop there, and then they get to pocket your tax dollars again. So I'm assuming that you're intelligent enough to recognize that when you're talking about things like fraud in cases of SNAP and WIC, that you're talking about the corporations and you're not blaming the single parent trying to buy their kid a birthday cake. Would I be correct in assuming that?
Y'all know that 70% of people on food stamps are employed. 70. 7-0. These aren't freeloaders. These aren't people looking for handouts. These are working poor Americans who just want to survive. And you go 70%. Well, what about the other 30%? Those are elderly and children. Children. Who, by the way, aren't going to get any food. These are the people you're ridiculing in our Christian-based society. So what do we do now? Well, now we step up for our fellow Americans, those of us whose heart still actually beats, that is. Shout out to my good friend Jeff Knaus, who just launched a massive fundraiser and donated $10,000 personally to make sure that families in central New York can get food during this nightmare. But, of course, that's not going to be enough. Lots of people are donating. I'm donating. Lots of people all over the country are supporting local food banks, and I strongly encourage you to do so if you can. But here's the thing. We all already paid taxes for all this. We're supporting and donating to our fellow Americans for things we already donated for. It's called our taxes. We paid them. I paid lots of them this year. I know a lot of other folks did too. So why is it that the money that we paid is not being spent on these people who are hungry? Because, we can't raise the minimum wage and make sure that these profitable corporations, shout out Walmart, could possibly just pay these people a living wage. No, it's all on us. And then worst yet, fellow Americans decide to go off and attack and insult these people because they happen to live in our society where them working full time, again, 70% work full time and don't make enough to eat. But you're going to pass judgment and...
It's baffling to me that some people feel like other people need to earn food.
Not on my tax dollars. Nope. Me.
Like, it's baffling, completely, utterly baffling to me.
All right, I'm going to break this down like I'm explaining it to a goldfish. The food that's on your table requires someone else's resources and labor. You are not entitled to somebody else's labor for free. That's called slavery. Just because you need something doesn't mean that somebody has to provide it for you for free. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
If we have 42 million people requiring food stamps and relying on the government to feed them, why are we not talking about the fact that we have 42 million people relying on the government for food stamps? Why are we not changing the tone of this?
People are up in arms that 42 million people are losing SNAP benefits on November 1st. But why are we up in arms that 42 million people are on SNAP benefits?
Okay, so like you're here, right? But you're also here. Working people can't afford food without government assistance. You people have your faces mushed up against the point and still somehow cannot see it. I don't understand this. Income inequality and the wage gap. It's kind of something we talk about a lot over here on the left, and I'm glad you're aboard. Welcome. Bernie stickers are around back. We'll get you your pride flag and your fucking hair dye. Welcome to the left, I guess. Jesus, Hubis tank Christ. Should we raise the minimum wage? How dare you? That's socialism. What about housing costs?
While it's great that we're all getting on here talking about how much we the people are willing to pay our taxes so that people can have SNAP benefits, so that people can have education for these things that are investments in the future of our country, all of that is great. But really, who should be paying their fair share of taxes are billionaires. And that's all we asked them. All we asked was, we want you to pay your fair share. That's it. And they said no. They said no because that would mean slower hiring. That would mean layoffs. That would mean that, if they go down, everyone would go down with them. And now look, everyone's going down except for them. And they have money for a golden ballroom. They couldn't pay their fair share taxes, but they somehow have money for this golden ballroom. So much money could have gone towards uplifting society. It's a return on investment that benefits us all. It really does. And they said, no, we can't do that. We can't pay taxes. But a golden ballroom next to the White House? Yeah, we have money for that. That's no problem. That's what's fucked up.
Friends, read this comment with me, please. My 94-year-old grandmother received $6 a month in food assistance after my grandmother passed. They both worked all of their lives. Now I've had to redo this video because I keep getting mad, and I'm not redoing it. You're just going to see me mad. This is what I was talking about. The majority of SNAP recipients are elderly, and they don't get more than $20-30 a month at most. Her 96-year-old grandmother, who paid into a system her whole working adult life, is being told, fuck you, you're only worth $6 a month? Meanwhile, every fucking toast-eating, eyebrow-drawn-on, white privileged ass bitch is pressing record and telling her grandmother and people like her, I'm glad you're not getting benefits. You should only be getting the staples. Do you think her grandmother's out there buying fucking, I don't know, a Mercedes-Benz on $6 a month, you dumb twat? The reality is that hardworking Americans use SNAP. Children are getting fed. We already know that Republicans don't want to feed kids, but the rest of the good-hearted people in America do, okay? Disabled people, elderly, and veterans, 42 million of them who have paid into a system, who worked for your benefits too, honey. The taxes they paid are going to help them. But they'll happily take those because, it's different for them. What about the veteran who risked their life to protect you, dumb bitches, while you tell those same veterans, I'm glad your benefits are getting taken away, you insufferable fucking twats. I wish we could round all of you up and deport your fucking asses. Because if anything, you lack American ideals. You lack who America is supposed to be. And I cherish the day that every last one of you finds yourself begging for help.
It is not selfish of me to want to keep what I earn. It is selfish of able-bodied people to demand that I pay for their groceries forever and ever. There is a massive amount of people on food stamps who have no business being on food stamps, and they should have been cut off a long time ago. We shouldn't need a government shutdown to cut those people off. If you are so angelic and generous that you just think that everybody should have free everything forever, then you can pay for that. It is not virtuous to force other people to pay for causes that you think are important.
Republicans never cease to amaze me at how upset they get when their tax dollars go to actually feeding Americans and not bombing children abroad. In the year 2022, the United States government spent $120 billion on SNAP benefits. That is $30 billion less than Donald Trump increased our military budget by. $150 billion. So take our entire SNAP budget, add $30 billion to that. That's how much we are spending more than we were last year on our military, a military budget that now exceeds over $1 trillion. Trump just executively signed a $40 billion bailout package to Argentina because Javier Milei is his political friend and ally. And let's not get it twisted with who predominantly receives SNAP benefits. It is families with children, with elderly folk, with disabled folk. You want me to genuinely believe the Republican Party is the America First Party that just genuinely cares where their tax dollars go to when you do not share this same energy when your tax dollars are going to new weapons equipment for ICE agents or 2,000-pound bombs being dropped in Gaza? There could be billions of dollars of actual fraud and waste going on at SNAP, and I still would not believe that your concern is sincere. Because you actually do not give a fuck where your tax dollars go. You only care about it when it helps out poor people. You don't even give a fuck about the budget deficit. This is all a cultural meme to you.
Imagine working 40 hours a week and still not being able to afford food. You see, even though I'm a successful businesswoman, when my girls were little, I raised them alone. I raised them on food stamps and I raised them on Section 8. When I say I raised them, I took part of that program until I could get my degree as a substance abuse counselor. But the one thing I never in a million years thought I would hear myself say in the United States of America, the daughter of a Vietnam veteran, is the fact that we're fucking with elderly people and we're fucking with children. See, many of you are going to see this and be like, well, I'm not on food stamps and it doesn't affect me. But let me educate you really quickly on how it's going to affect you. So for every 50 cents a person who's on SNAP benefits spends at the grocery store, it affects our economy from $1.30 to $1.80. What does that mean? The minute that food stamps are cut off, guess what's going to happen in the stores? Food costs are even going to go higher and higher and higher. Then all of you out there who are like, well, I'm not on food stamps, this doesn't affect me. Let me show you how it's going to affect you. They're going to start laying people off from grocery stores because they're not going to be able to afford them. They're going to start laying off truckers because they're not going to need to move food across the country. They're going to have to lay off people at gas stations because guess what? The truckers aren't going to need gas anymore. You're not understanding the bigger picture here. Again, let me go back to the fact that the unspoken thing in the United States of America is we don't fuck with children and we don't fuck with elderly. Well, guess what? We just did. First time in American history, a president does not give a shit about the people in this country. A third of Americans, do you know a third of Americans that are on food stamps are all hardworking American citizens. They're all legal. They're all doing what they're supposed to do, and they still can't afford to feed their family. So when you're laying down at night in your gluttonous ass and you're thinking this doesn't affect me, wait.
I'm a Christian.
Okay.
This message is for all the people that are complaining that they're not getting their food stamps for November.
Okay, let's hear the Christian take on this.
What did you do with October's food stamp money?
My guess is they probably used that on food.
What'd you do? Did you stock up on pantry items and try to shop smartly? Or did you just go buy a bunch of processed garbage?
Why did you ask whether they either bought processed junk or if they stocked up on pantry items? Most pantry items are processed. And then you talked about eating peanut butter on toast. That stuff is processed. Processed also doesn't equal bad. Also, if you've ever looked into this, you know things like obesity rates and poverty rates are linked together because when people have less money or are relying on food stamps, they're going to try and get more bang for their buck, like you just said. So if they have a big family, they're typically going to get like a frozen lasagna to feed their family. But then if they eat healthier and spend the actual money, then you're also crapping on them. So it seems like they're never going to win with you anyways.
Looks like you're going to be going to the food pantry for your Thanksgiving meal. I know a lot of food pantries hand out turkeys for Thanksgiving. All the sides and trimmings too. Lots of food pantries. You better figure it out. I'm sick of hearing you complain, honestly.
I mean, hey, at least we learned what the Christian response is to this issue. I'm sure by now a lot of people have seen her video. My biggest takeaway is this is a perfect example of the lack of empathy in this country. And it's not just what's been happening the last few months or last year or last decades. It's really been since inception of America. And now we have a leadership that amplifies the lack of empathy. So it makes her behavior seem normal, which is not. And this is why I don't really know how we can push past and unite this country when people don't have ethics and morals that are centrally aligned. Denying other people safe housing, affordable food, education, childcare, affordable wages. If we can't agree on the basics of living in this country, I just don't know how we come together, because that shows that your lack of empathy is more important than uniting this country and seeing us move forward.
Jealousy. They are jealous that somebody is buying Oreos. You think that because they're poor, they don't deserve to eat a cookie. You're assuming that people are using their food stamp money to get their lashes done and their nails done. For all you know, all of that could be DIY. There are press-on nails. There are press-on lashes. They're mad that you don't look like what you've been through. They want to look at you with pity in their eyes, not jealousy. They really want to say is you're poor. Why do you care about how you look? They want to feel better than you, and they want to see you struggle. It's not enough that you tell the government, I'm struggling, I need help. No, they want to see it. Now all of a sudden they want to care about how the government is spending their tax money? Where have you been when all these wars were being funded? Where have you been? You see a single mom throwing some Oreos in a shopping cart, and all of a sudden you need to know exactly where every dime is going. What about the widows, the disabled, the active duty military who are all receiving SNAP benefits? What about people who are already working 2 or 3 jobs and still can't afford to feed their family? You know good and well everybody who's getting that benefit isn't abusing the system. They give you a boogeyman and somebody to hate, and you take the bait every single time. You'd rather believe they're all getting Doritos and Oreos, they're all getting seafood boils and their nails and lashes done. Sometimes they just missed a couple of checks, just like how you would be if you missed a couple.
Latasha, is this you?
I need money. Yes, I do. I need money. Yes, lots of money.
It's always the poor lifting down the poor, because when the government failed you, you feel like the government should fail everyone else. Are you what they call a welfare queen? And yes, that video appears to be 10 years old. Your financial situation may have changed. Likely for the better. But that video sure came back to haunt you 10 years later, right? Or lack of empathy for those that are going to lose their SNAP benefits next month shows me that you likely relied on government assistance yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. Your income bracket may have improved in the last 10 years. And hey, good for you. Everyone has their highs and their lows in life. So just remember that. But remember where you came from. It was my tax dollars paying your benefits. You're welcome.
Let's start with the bullshit. We all know that this man has not done anything to make America great again. 1.4 million people in my state, North Carolina, relies on SNAP benefits. I don't think it's funny when I'm seeing videos of people who don't look like me brag about people losing benefits, knowing damn well that the majority of those people who rely on those benefits are people who look like them. There's not a damn thing funny about families losing SNAP benefits. They're not going to be able to feed their kids. What's funny about that? American kids didn't ask for this bullshit. Come November, 1.4 million here in North Carolina, again, will not receive SNAP benefits due to the government shutdown. And it's not just the government shutdown that's affecting SNAP benefits. It's Trump federal cuts as well. This is not what North Carolinians voted for. That's not what Trumpians voted for here in North Carolina 3 damn times. Better wake up, because this shit is real out here. Americans will be starving because of the Republicans. That's just 1.4 million people here in North Carolina. I'm not talking about the country. Y'all better wake the hell up.
I've been on food stamps before because I had to. I was in a place where I needed them. I didn't live off of them, though. I used them for as long as, I needed them for. And until I found a job and started building up my life. Food stamps were made as a temporary thing for people to help you get back on your feet, so that way you could eat in the meantime while you're trying to get up, back on your feet.
Adults aged 18 through 64 who do not have children under the age of 14 and do not have disabilities are limited to 3 months of SNAP benefits every 3 years if they are not working or in a work training program minimum 20 hours a week. It's almost like you took advantage of the system and now you're mad that other people get those benefits. And I don't say take advantage in a manipulative way. You used the benefit available to you because you qualified at that time. Are you that dense?
You cannot go and buy whole food ingredients because you think they're too expensive. I think you're full of crap. I just went to Sam's Club recently and spent less than $400 and filled up my freezer and my refrigerator with whole food ingredients.
Do you even hear yourself? You just went to Sam's Club. For one grocery trip, you spent $400. Refer to my last video where you'll see the average New Jersey resident where this toad lives receives $194 a month per person, $6 a day. And she just can't find it in her little brain up here, rubbing her last 2 brain cells together to understand how someone who's bringing in, what did it come out to? About $1,600 a month after taxes to live on, bills, everything. You can't understand why they don't just go to Sam's Club and fill up their cart for $400 with Whole Foods instead of buying processed canned goods that last, stable shelf life, high in sodium, keeps you full. Like, you have to try to be this illiterate. You really do.
This is a message to that woman who lost her job because she made that mean, unnecessary, cruel video about people on food stamps. You'll be all right. You got last month's paycheck. Groceries from last month. Last month's toilet paper. Last month's tampons. Last month's gas in the car. What did you do with all of that from last month? Huh?
To all the women who love making videos of themselves eating and complaining about poor people online who they themselves just got fired, what'd you do with the job that you just had? What'd you do with it? Did you keep your hateful mouth shut and try to be a little bit understanding of other people's situations? Or did you go online and post some vitriolic nonsense? By the way, you can thank yourself for losing your job. Democrats had nothing to do with that. You did that entirely by yourself. Looks like you're going to be touching up your resume. Scrolling through some job postings. I know a lot of websites post ad listings for jobs. You better figure it out. Meanwhile, I'm going to be good without God. Have a good one.
So I guess karma came around and got that peanut butter toast lady. But she really put something on my mind, like community, like real community. Because with everything going on right now, like the shutdown, food stamps being frozen, people like losing just a little bit of assistance that we had left. A lot of people are about to be out here struggling quietly. And that just doesn't sit right with me. Groceries are already high, bills are higher, and the programs that were designed to help us are getting cut off like it's just like nothing. And I need y'all to hear this part, right? Don't be embarrassed to ask for help. Like, the shame is not yours. It's the government's. It's the system's. This country has always made people feel like needing help is some sort of moral failure, when the truth is the ones that broke it are actually sitting up there comfortable collecting subsidies. It's not your fault. So yeah, this season I'm thinking more about groceries and less about gifts. So check in on your people. Make sure your neighbors have what they need. Maybe it's a grocery run, maybe it's a meal, maybe it's just sitting there with them so they don't feel alone. Because if they can work this hard to break down community programs, then we're going to have to work twice as hard to build our own. We can't control the policy, like not from where most of us stand anyway, but we can control how we show up for each other. So yeah, if you're struggling right now or you feel it coming, you're not lazy and you're not alone. You're not a burden. You're living in a system that wasn't built to hold you. But that's exactly why we have to hold each other. Maybe this year, instead of buying gifts, we donate that money to food banks. We go out and buy extra coats and winter gear and whatever else people need. Just be there for each other, because they're never there for us. It's time we turn this around.